y'all. Today we have a special treat. It is we've had him on before, but not in this context. It was during the Phillies World Series run, and it is the Spanish language voice of the Philadelphia Eagles. Oscar Budejen. How are you, Oscar? How you feeling?
Hey, fly Eagles fly. There's the Super Bowl back there. We're ready to go. I was at the stadium today. A couple of days before the game, and the excitement is in the air. And the good news is we have Jalen Hurts quarterbacking this team.
Yeah, it's thrilling. I always was somebody who said, "Hey, give Jalen a chance. Let him develop. I didn't think it would come this. I didn't think it would pay off this quickly. Was there any? Did you think that it was even possible that this year would be the year he could take the team all the way to a Super Bowl?
Look, I think the kid brings kind of a way of being. He's the way he was raised, the way he approaches the game, the experiences he had, because he had a tough time to get to where he got. What happened in Alabama, just the challenges he had there in championship games. He has evolved, into the person that he is today, and he understands the platform he is, and he's worked his tail off to be able to achieve what he has. And I love kind of when you ask him, what is the greatest play you've had this year, when the guy said the season is not over. The season is not over. He's on a mission, and I would not bet against that kid.
No.
He's done an amazing job. And my hat goes off to him, the way he's handled himself, adversity. How he started. How he got drafted by the Eagles. Every single person on the Eagles, I guess, other than Andy Reid, other than Doug Peterson, it was Doug Peterson at the time.
Oh, Doug who drafted him,
and Howie Roseman. I think everybody on planet Earth was shocked about, picking up Jalen Hurts. I was like, what? Don't we have a franchise quarterback? The kid came here. He worked very, very hard. He did what he needed to do, and he's put himself in this situation. And again, my hat goes off to him. He's done an amazing job. He worked very, very hard. This whole season, I think it was very important for him to take his game to the next level. It's the second year with the same kind of coaching staff, and amazing job. Amazing job.
It is amazing. You're there on location, and the people listening, they can hear it. They're getting to experience some of the vibe on the ground there. What does it look like, the fan perspective? Do you think it's about 50-50 Eagles Chiefs fans?
I would say, we're going to start seeing the fan. Mainly what you see the first few days is the media. Today's Friday. The fans are beginning to come in. I had the opportunity to go to an In-N-Out burger last night, and believe it or not, there were a couple of fans that recognize us. With the hat. I wear with pride my Eagles hat, so they said, "I know you."
Wow.
And then there were a couple other Eagles fans. So look, it was the guys that the couple of Eagles fans that sat next to us at the In-N-Out burger. They came for the golf tournament. There's a big golf tournament here in Phoenix, in the Phoenix Open. And they came from the golf tournament, and now that they they spent so much money to come into the golf tournament, they're also going to the Super Bowl. So it's fun for them. So, again, I probably have seen more Eagles fans than I have seen Chiefs fans, but I expect, starting today, it's when the majority of the people are going to start coming over.
So they won't be in town. They won't be. The actual fans are arriving now. So I'm kind of premature in asking this.
Yeah, well, look, I think it's going to be, I would say probably 60-40, maybe 70-30 is what I would expect would be Eagles fans. But remember, these are large corporate events, so you're going to have a lot of people from the corporate world in these events. And, there's fans all over the world. I've been impressed by the amount of media that has come from all over the planet. There's tons of people here from Mexico, from Holland, people from the Netherlands, people from a lot of Germany guys, and actually even going to the Eagles press conferences. There's a guy from
So when
Paris that started asking asked the question to Jalen a couple of days ago. He said, "Would you like to come to Paris?" And Jalen said, "Yeah, but after the offseason, let's talk about." I mean, he's
I still
focused right
got
now.
work
He's
to
laser
do.
focused. Yeah, he has work to do, and great kid.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Are you so when you were watching the AFC Championship, was this the draw you were hoping for, or did you think we had a better chance against the Bengals?
Um, I mean, I would say they were evenly matched. I mean, you're talking both in terms of Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, probably two of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. I would probably put kind of Jalen just a tiny below them, particularly with their Patrick Mahomes, his ability to escape the pocket. I mean, his ability to throw the football from every angle, everywhere, probably puts him on top. Joe Burrow, it's Mr. Cool. I mean, he is cool under pressure. I've been amazed about the way he throws the football. But look, it is what it is. I mean, you can. I don't. Whomever comes, and we'll have to prepare for them. I think probably the Kansas City Chiefs defense is slightly easier than the Cincinnati Bengals defense. I mean, in my view. So I
Agreed.
think from that standpoint, I would have preferred kind of the Chiefs, but excuse me, the Chiefs, but the Bengals. I mean Bengals offense versus Kansas City Chiefs offense. I mean, seeing Patrick Mahomes across from you and trying to figure it out how we're going to stop that guy is not going to be an easy task. So, I mean, we Jonathan Gannon has a task order on top of them, even though we have the best defensive line and the best pass defense in the NFL. But Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid planning, game planning. I mean, it's not going to be an easy game.
What do you thinking the plan is to try to limit them? I mean, I don't think you stop them. They're not going to beat. I don't think they'll beat the Chiefs the way that they beat the Niners or the Giants, holding them to
No,
only 7 points.
no,
There's no way that
absolutely.
happens.
Look, when I came from Philly, I came in last Sunday. There was a lot of optimism. We're going to win this game, this quick game. Some people were saying, "Look, we're going to rout this guys." I mean, I see a very, very difficult match. I do believe that what Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are going to do is basically limit the ability of our pass rush to get in. So they're going to get rid of the ball very fast. You're going to see a lot of passes to Kelsey, to Smith Schuster, and to Tony, which is a very fast running back. Wide receiver, very
Wide
fast
receiver, yeah.
wide receiver.
Mhm.
And then we're going to see a lot of screen passes and some of the running game with Pacheco. He's shown some good bursts. So, but it's not going to be. I don't think he's going to stand back in the pocket and expect that he's going to have 4 seconds to throw that football. He's a master at buying an additional second or additional 37. I mean, half a second to be able to throw the football. So I expect a quick, fast, short passing offense from the Patriots to minimize the impact of a Hassan Reddick and a Judge Sweat and Brandon Graham from the edges. So that's going to be how the game is going to start. The bigger question to me is our biggest area of vulnerability is the middle of the field. That's what Andy is going to attack. So how I think it's going to be very important that Avante Maddox plays in this game, because if Avante Maddox comes in, then you have CJ Gardner Johnson, which you can have more flexibility to play him around. And I love the way he plays the football at the safety position. So having Avante Maddox, and all the indications that I have are that he's going to be playing, even though he was in a walking
Absolutely.
boot. He was in a
He'll
walking
be out
boot
there,
not too
y'all.
long ago. Yeah.
Avante
Yeah, so
Max is
that's going
going
to
to
be a key
play.
match. I mean, Gardner Johnson at
Absolutely.
safety is going to be very, very important.
Absolutely. I mean, do you think, to your point, you're talking about Avante Max and CJ Gardner Johnson? My thought is that they probably in basketball, they have the box and one, and probably line up CJ Gardner Johnson over Travis Kelsey and kind of play the zone behind it and have CJ Gardner Johnson try to trail him all over the place. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's how not Nick Bolton. Who was it that from Tampa Bay that completely shut down Kelsey in the Super Bowl?
White.
Uh, Yes. Devin White.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
yeah. I mean, I think we're gonna look. We have to face the reality. We do not have the same linebackers that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have.
No.
TJ Edwards is very good against the run. He's very aggressive,
Yes.
and he's very
Yes.
good. Closing the holes and doing all the tackling. But the problem is we need speed because Travis
That's right.
Kelsey's a master in getting one wide open. So my belief is that we're going to bracket him. So we're going to have a couple players overseeing him. But I can almost guarantee you that he's going. These are going to be short, quick passes. The question is how Jonathan Ganos approaches this. Does he bring, an additional defensive back to help out? I mean, what is he going to do against Andy Reid and that short passing game? Because our linebackers, especially T. Edwards, does not have the same speed that some of these other guys to cover the guys. And we have had some issue. We are number 24 in covering running backs. We are not when we pass the football when they pass the football to a running back, we're number
Yeah.
24 in the NFL. And the same thing, I think we're 6 against tight ends, but I believe the speed of our linebackers, limits our ability to get to the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Kaiser White has the speed, but his coverage skills are not that good. I mean, they have been. I was watching him even running routes with Josh Johnson back there at quarterback, and even Brock Purdy back there at quarterback, and I'm seeing Kaiser White getting cooked all over the field. I mean, it's not looking too good.
He started. I mean, it's interesting because he started very, very hot. He started playing very well. He's a converted safety. He started very, very well, but I haven't seen the impact over the latter part of the season.
I think the NFL scouts kind of figured out what he does well and what he doesn't do well, and they are not letting him do what he does well because there have not been many results from.
He's a good tackler. I mean, he left the Los Angeles Chargers last year in tackles, so he's a good tackler. But speed is part of the challenges that we have. So look, it's going to be an interesting game. I do believe that the key matchup is going to be our defensive line, our 7. How do our front 7 contains Andy Reid and his offense? And it's not going to be an easy task.
No question.
I do believe they're going to score points. So I think the question
now that's where I was going.
The other side. Yeah, now the question goes on the other side, and I think that's where we have our biggest advantage in this game. I don't think this defense can stop Jalen Hurts and our RPO game. They're going to have to take chances, and when they take chances, that's where the big plays could come to J.J. Gardner-Johnson or Devonta Smith. So it'll be interesting. Again, the chess match is going to play out. On the other hand, they're going to try to maybe have a spy on Hurts because Jalen, I'm telling you, Jalen is going to put everything he has on this game. Guarantee you, if he sees the window, he's going to run for 30 or 40 yards, and ain't nobody stopping him. So that's going to be a big part in this game. You're going to see the Jalen that plays against Indianapolis that said, "This is my game, and I'm taking over. I'm winning this game." That's the Jalen Hurts we're going to see in this game.
I agree with you, Oscar. I think that the Eagles' offense has made much better defenses look bad. They've got the offensive line. Save for Chris Jones, they should dominate those guys. They're the Kansas City's linebackers. I called earlier in the week. I mean, Dallas Goedert hasn't been talked about much. I wouldn't be shocked to see Dallas Goedert score 2 touchdowns here.
Yeah, look, I think the beauty of the Eagles offense and the beauty of what Sirianni, Steichen, and Jalen Hurts have done is they're playing to Jalen's strength. And Jalen has mastered the RPO. And if an example of that is what happened to Fred Warner a couple of weeks ago, the way we were able to get to Fred Warner was unbelievable. Fred Warner just stand there, not knowing where to go. Stand still, not knowing where to go. So I mean, he did an amazing job. To be honest with you, an
He
amazing
was
job.
who I was most. He was Fred Warner was the single 49er that I was most worried about coming into that game. All their great players. They have so many really, really good players.
Mhm.
Fred Warner, I was like, dang, he's going to be able to. And they made him look like a total or he was a non-factor in the game. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and we're talking probably the best linebacker that there is in the NFL. And
Correct.
he couldn't, because Jalen Hurts has mastered the RPO. He did not know which way to go. Am I defending Jalen, and am I defending Miles Sanders or Gainwell? By the way, a critical player that will play. I mean, Sirianni was saying yesterday that he's seeing Gainwell splitting half of the carries now with Miles
Wow.
Sanders. Yeah.
Breaking
So I mean,
news. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So he's done an amazing. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say breaking news. It's what we've been seeing over the last two games. I mean,
50-50
Gainwell.
though?
Yeah, well, that's what he said. Yeah, I mean, he was splitting. I mean, splitting the carries. So
Oh, okay.
basically, I mean, what you're seeing here, he plays to the strength. He gives you one additional weapon. He's a much better receiver than Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders, if you're inside the 10-yard line, I mean, Miles Sanders is going to get the ball because he can pound it. I mean, he can pound the
Yep.
ball. And you saw it in the games against the 49ers. I mean, he was the one that pounded the ball and got 2 touchdowns. I mean, I think we're going to run the ball. I think we're going to run the ball a lot, and we're going to run the ball with our running backs and with Miles Sanders. I mean, with Jalen Hurts. And the objective is to keep the ball away from Patrick Mahomes, so you can minimize his possessions and try to control this game, controlling the clock. That is the game plan for the Eagles. I mean, if the defense comes in to try to protect the run, I do see him throwing the long shots to AJ Brown. And look, the other thing is Jalen has not proven to us over the last 3 or 4 games that his shoulder is in the best of shape. I mean, in the games against the Giants, the first game against the Giants, the second, I mean, I'm talking about the last two that we played. I mean, he has not played well, even though he got 2 touchdowns on the playoff game. But I have not seen the sharpness, and I saw him throwing against the 49er. He was overthrowing AJ Brown. The passes were going too high. So, and let's be clear, Jalen ain't Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he doesn't have the arm or the passing skills that Patrick Mahomes have. What he does have, and he has learned to master, in addition to the RPO, is a timing pass. So he has
Yes.
a very good timing and very good rhythm. And in order for you to do that, you need to be able to practice. It's like somebody was mentioning to me. It's like when you're playing golf, right? If you don't play golf on a continuous basis, you're going to lose your swing.
That's
And
right.
that's the same thing here. That's the same thing here. He didn't practice for he didn't throw too much for 2 or 3 weeks, and the timing has been off in the last few games. But I do
Yeah.
believe that we're going to score. I believe we're going to score a lot, and I believe they're also going to score a lot. I see a high score in this game. I mean, I don't see this being a 2017 game.
No, I
I
don't
see it
either.
much
I don't
higher than
either.
that.
Let's get back to that later because the people are definitely going to want to know what you think on that. But let's go through MVPs. Let's start first just on the Eagles. The Eagles MVP for this game. Let's not get the Super Bowl MVP. It could be the same, but who will be the Eagles' most valuable player on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear. History tells you that either of the quarterbacks, the winning quarterback is going to be the MVP. So I'm going to pick Hurts to be the MVP. I think he's destined. I think he's on a mission. He's laser focused. Like I haven't seen very few athletes be as laser focused. Talking about Michael Jordan, I know that people have been talking about, oh, Sirianni's talking about Michael Jordan. Look, this kid is laser focused. I mean, he has one objective and one objective only, and everything that he's doing is to be able to achieve that. He said something interesting yesterday that caught my attention. Somebody asked him, who has been your biggest influence and that have helped you the most this season? And he mentioned a couple of groups that caught my attention. He said both Big Play Slay and Bradbury, they have
Mm,
challenged him to become better. And he said the two members of the team that have helped them the most this year in terms of guiding them and orient them was Jason Kelsey and Stoutland, the offensive line coach and running back coach. I think
mm.
that combination of those three, Kelsey, Stoutland, and Jalen Hurts have been working very, very hard because they have mastered. I mean, look what Kelsey does. I mean, Kelsey's a genius. I mean, I've never seen a center play such beautiful game, and he's 35 years old. He is a master. I mean, he's the master. Somebody was writing
Speak.
today. Listen to this. Somebody was writing today that this could be the offensive line of the century. The Eagles, and I think they have two Hall of Famer. Kelsey's going to be a Hall of Famer, and Lane Johnson is going to be a Hall of Famer.
The best so far in the 24 year or 23 years of football played in this millennium. They're way up there. They're better than the 17 line. I got to say that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had Big V playing left tackle. I mean, in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, so
No.
Look, it's gonna. I mean, we built. I mean, how we have done a tremendous job building this. I mean, this team through the lines, and I mean, they've proven they gotten us here. I mean, this team is 16-3, and Jalen is 16-1 as a starting quarterback. So, look, the best is yet to come. We just need that 17.
So you brought up our guy Jason Kelsey. Is this there's been a lot of talk about this, but I want to hear what you have to say is about this potentially being his last game. Do you think so? And if that's the case, do you think Cam Jurgens is ready to take the reins?
Well, let me start with the last question. I think I talked to Jurgens specifically yesterday, and I told him something that I've been predicting for a while. I told him that I predicted all season that he used to be a tight end, so I predicted that he was going to score a touchdown. The entire season I've been saying that on the radio, and he started laughing, and I said, maybe you're Philly special number 2. So if it happens, I mean, you heard it here first.
That would be thank you again.
How about a Philly special number 2? But look, I mean, Jurgens is more than ready. He showed in the preseason games, and I asked him, look, can you play guard? And he said, absolutely. I've been practicing both. He said, I'll play where the team puts me. So I do believe he can play center. I believe he can play guard. I think it's going to be interesting what happened to Siamalo after the season. And I would not doubt, to me, Kelsey's coming back next year. I mean, I have not seen a player. I mean, again, it's my perception, not that I have inside information or anything like that. But my perception is the way I see him, everything communicates, and the way he's communicating and what I'm seeing for him, and he's playing at such an elite level back next year.
Better than ever.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's going to come better than ever next year, but I'm telling you, 80%.
No, right now, he's better than ever.
Better 80% of Kelsey puts you in the top 2 or 3 centers in the NFL. By the way, the center from Kansas City, Humphrey, is a beast. I mean, he's a tremendous player.
Oh my God, he is. Talk about honorable mention. Player. I mean, that guy. He's probably, if you're talking about best centers in the league, he's in that top 3 for sure.
Yeah, he's in that category. He's in that category, and I do believe Jurgens is going to be a monster. A monster. I mean, I've seen very few centers.
He plays much different, though.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But what I'm saying in terms of Kelsey, remember, Kelsey wanted a replica of him. He wanted kind of a replica of him playing center for the future of the Eagles. So I do believe that he's going to play one more year, and I do not, because of all the 17 free agents that we have, I would not doubt that Siamalo goes and Jurgens get his feet wet. Remember, Dickerson was going to be a center, and then they put him at left. Left guard, and I would not doubt that Jurgens get his feet wet, being the right guard of this team. And I'm telling you, he has all the makeups to be an outstanding lineman for the Eagles for many years.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, and we talk about Creed Humphrey. When y'all watch the game, you'll have heard me and Oscar talk about Creed Humphrey and how excellent, and I will say again, excellent center. He plays the game much different than Kelsey, so you're not going to see him doing a bunch of pulling and upfield 20 yards on a screen pass or anything like that. He's more of an anchor at that center position, and really just hard for defensive tackles to overpower him. He can get blown by with a speed rush, but in terms of power, you're not going to find much better power centers in the NFL.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. So I mean, Hurts
So
to me is the MVP. I mean that's why I believe he's going to win the MVP this year. I think his legs are going to play a major role in this game.
so give me
I
a
see
before I give you
50, 60
okay.
yards. I see 50, 60 yards from Hurts on the ground. I mean, he's going to be a major league weapon in this game. He's going all out. I'm telling you, he's going all out to win this game.
That's all. Well, a lot of people who like this show and like the same team as we do will be glad to hear that. You think, along with that 50, 60 yards on the ground, probably, I would guess, also a rushing touchdown from Jalen
Yeah, I would
Hurts.
say one or two. I would not doubt one or two rushing touchdowns will come. Again, the Eagles are going to try to run. I mean, do the same thing they did against the Giants because they cannot afford the 49ers because they cannot on the on the Giants. They cannot afford to give the ball to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that is the
That's right.
priority number one. And the other thing, we got to start fast. You cannot let this offense of Kansas City start faster than you because they are very dangerous.
And then they have if you start playing from behind, that plays into what Kansas City's defense does do well. They've got
Yeah.
very fast corners, and you're going to let Clark get after you, and that's not
Yeah.
Chris Jones. I'm sorry,
And
Clark
then
and
the other
Jones.
thing is,
Yeah,
yeah, and it's going to force. I mean, Jones is a beast, but it's going to force Jalen to throw more than what the Eagles want. And if that happens, I mean, that's what Spangola is going to be bringing blitz. And Hertz has some mixed reviews. There are some games that he does very well, some games that he's not doing very well against the blitz. And I mean, Spagnola is well known for his blitzes.
if Jalen or Hassan Reddick don't win MVP, who's that third choice for you to win MVP?
Wow, that's a tough question. Maybe AJ Brown. Maybe AJ Brown. I mean, because they're going to push hard to try to stop the run. That AJ Brown. I think actually AJ Brown and Devonta Smith are made up for this game. I mean, I
They
remember
are.
the national. I remember the national championship with Devonta Smith. I mean, he was unbelievable. I don't remember 175 yards and touchdowns. He fractured his hands left in the third quarter. I mean, he is such an outstanding athlete. I love Devonta Smith. I love the way he run routes. I mean, he look with a pure passer, that kid would have. I mean,
Oh my
watch out,
gosh.
Jefferson. Watch out,
Yes, yes.
watch out, Jefferson. I mean, that's how good he is. I mean,
And then
Jalen has
all the
his.
talk about his muscle, people talked about how little he was, how skinny he was. That talk is over. He has proven that
He
he can
doesn't
play in this
care. He
league
doesn't
off of
care.
press coverage. It's just silly talk for
He's a
for
snake. I mean,
banter.
he's a snake. He will. I mean, it's like Boston Scott, right? You hide underneath the offensive linemen, and there you go. And people, it's hard to stop them. And the same thing. I mean, with Devonta Smith, I think. Look, if they bring their defense in, which they're known to play more this year, more zone and playing too deep. But if they bring them in, I mean, Devonta Smith and I was going to say Avante Maddox, Devonta Smith and AJ Brown could have huge games. I mean,
All
look,
right,
look,
Oscar.
look at the game. Look at the game against the Tennessee Titans, right? And look at the games against the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers had issues on defense, on rushing defense, and Jalen ran for 175 yards. The Titans had issue on the passing game, and he passed the ball for over 340,
Yep.
50 yards.
Yeah.
So
Three. I think it was 3-8. I think he almost had 400, but they pulled him. They pulled him, and that was that
I
was
thought
one
it
of
was
those games that
350, but
Minshew got in. Yeah.
yeah. So, but
Regardless, over
the
300.
point is, Sirianni, Steichen, Stoutland, they are strategizing. How do I leverage what we have, the opportunities? Now, this team is not very good against the run. And that's where I do believe that they have to make an adjustments to stop the run because we're going to run down. I mean, that's what we need. That's the only thing the Eagles need. Run and move that clock. Look, against the Giants, 49ers, we had 38 minutes the ball. They had 22. So That's what we need. We need to maximize our time of possession. And if we win that and we win the turnover battle. Now, this team is interesting. They don't force too many turnovers and they don't throw too many balls away. So they are at -3 and the Eagles are +8. But we did a much better job in the beginning of the season than toward the latter part of the season, except for Hassan Reddick that was able to force a few fumbles there toward the end of and recover one of them. So look, it's going to be the way I envision this matchup is going to be very tight. I think it's going to go to the last possession, and I do believe the Eagles are going to win this game 30-28.
30-28. Well, that is very exciting. Oscar, you were on Fox Deportes today, and what else can we look forward to seeing you on? You're doing all hits all the time, man. What's going on?
I'm with the Eagles, with the Eagles and Tico Sports. They're going to be broadcasting the games. We're going to be in La Mega, which is 105.7 FM. Ricky Ricardo and I are going to be broadcasting the game, and bring some flavor and some passion to that broadcast. So that's what we'll bring. We bring kind of the passion of Eagles football. I mean, bring it alive and just make it happen. So looking forward for you guys to join us. If you want to hear some Spanish, and a volar. We put people a volar, which is let's fly.
That's right. It's like let's go, but let's fly. A volar. So thank you all so much for listening. Thank you, Oscar, for being in it. If this is the last broadcast before the big game, thank you all so much for listening to our coverage of the Philadelphia Eagles season. It's been a pleasure. All of the guests, people like Oscar make this happen. And please follow the show. Give Oscar Budejen a follow over on Twitter and show him some support. Thank you all.